Today we're going to be making a cauliflower crust pizza. Now I'm going to be serving this tonight with a big green salad. So this is going to be a really delicious dinner. So I've got my cauliflower all ready. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to use Trim Healthy Mama's recipe for the cauliflower crust pizza, but we're going to prepare the cauliflower according to Pioneer Woman. So this was probably one of the smallest heads of broccoli I've ever had. After I took all the green stems off and everything, it was extremely small. So I got some, and I meant cauliflower, but so I got a little bit out of my garden. Now this cauliflower wasn't covered, so it's a little bit yellow, but it's very good. So all I'm gonna do is put the two mixes of the cauliflower in my food processor here. And all I'm gonna do is put this through the food processor just like this. I'm gonna puree it. So I'm gonna continue to puree this cauliflower up, and then I'm going to put it in a microwave safe dish. I'm gonna put it in a microwave safe dish, and then I'm going to process it in the microwave for a little bit just to kind of pre-cook it and get some of this liquid out of it. So now we're going to take 2 cups of our riced cauliflower. I'm going to put it in a microwave safe container, and I'm going to stick it in the microwave for about 5 minutes. I want it to get really soft. Okay, so it has been 5 minutes, and all we're going to do is take our cauliflower out of the dish. We're going to pour it onto a nice clean dish towel. And we're just gonna let it cool just a little bit. It's very hot right now. Kind of spread it out a little just so that it cools a little bit faster. And if you skip this step, this is the part that I get from the Pioneer Woman cookbook. I'm using the Trim Healthy Mama recipe, but I'm using this step from the Pioneer Woman. And this will help get a lot of the moisture out of this cauliflower so you have a crust that's much more like a pizza crust. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna wring out all this dish towel so that we get a nice product at the end of it that we can go ahead and form into a crust. Right now I have my oven preheating at 400 degrees. Okay, our cauliflower has been sitting here now cooling off enough that we can work with it. And so all I'm gonna do is just kind of bring it up into a little ball so that I can wring it out. And I'm just gonna put it over this same little container that I cooked it in. And I'm just going to squeeze this until I can get some liquid to come out of it. So I want to make sure you can see that, but you're going to keep squeezing this until there's no more liquid coming out of this. And you can see just from this small amount of making this cauliflower, I mean, it looks like it's completely shrunk up. So don't worry about that. It's more important that you get the liquid out more than anything, because a drier cauliflower is going to give you a better product for your crust. So if you have a ton of liquid, your crust is not going to come out. So just keep squeezing. You'll end up with something that's going to be kind of like a little ball of, it's not going to be flour, of course. It's still going to be a little bit moist, but not like it is right now. And what I do is I just turn this because it just kind of squeezes it, and I just turn it until it really stops putting liquid out. Or I can't do it anymore. I mean, this is so hard on my hands with arthritis, but we want a good crust. So this is where the Pioneer Woman, she knows what she's talking about. Look at that. It's amazing to me. All right, so this is gonna be good for us. We're gonna go ahead now, I'll just throw that out. and we're gonna start putting our crust together. So now what we want to do is just unwrap our little ball here and take out our cauliflower. So you see how that kind of dried out your cauliflower? All right, so we're going to take 1 egg. We're going to take a little bit of cheese, a little bit of, now I thought I had more mozzarella, I don't. So I'm going to put just a little bit of the sharp cheddar in. I'm going to put some Italian seasonings and some garlic powder. You put in however much you like. It just says to add it. It doesn't really say in this particular recipe how much to add. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of the seasonings. I'm going to start stirring this up. That garlic smells really good. Now, I actually have some egg yolks from some egg that I had the other day, so I'm going to put one of these egg yolks in. All right, we're going to go ahead and form this onto a pizza pan. All right, so all we're going to do is turn our crust over into this pizza pan. And we're just going to push this out until we get it in the shape of a pizza. Now, just remember, this is not a floured crust. It's not like you're going to be able to roll it and, you know, have this perfect pizza. So I just try to get it into like a nice shape before I start pushing it out. You want to just push it out from the middle. Get it as thin as you can without tearing it apart. I mean, it's going to get easier to work with the more that you're pushing your pizza out. Just remember, the thinner it is, the better it's going to cook too. So I'm going to try to get it all the way to the end of the pan on all these sides. And then we're going to put this in the oven. I've got the oven preheating at 400 degrees. And we're going to cook this crust for 15 minutes before we make our pizza. So that'll give us time to get our toppings ready and everything else. There's a bigger piece of cauliflower. Normally I'd leave it in, but since this is kind of mimicking a pizza, we don't want a big hunk of cauliflower in our mouth. All right, so let me try to get this looking as much like a pizza as I possibly can. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'll be back as soon as it's ready. So I really have to say, this crust looks amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead now and put my homemade pasta sauce on here. Now this is pasta sauce that I made from my tomatoes from my garden this year. So we're just gonna put some of this right over the top. Now this sauce is filled with flavor. I made this from my cherry tomatoes because I just had a glut of them and still do. Well, I don't have a ton now, but I'm kind of winding down. Usually by the 1st of August, most of my garden's completely done. And in this year, it's kind of the same thing. I start early and finish early, and so for a good month or two, I really don't have much growing in the garden. All right, so there we go. I realized I was out of pepperoni as well. So I'm gonna put a little bit of sharp cheddar, and instead of the pepperoni, I'm going to be using some of this turkey. I shredded it up and, well, I cut it up. I didn't actually shred it. Now I am gonna put some mozzarella over the top. I'm going to put some of this turkey because we are going to need some protein from this. It's a lot of vegetables, and I want to make sure that we're getting enough protein so that this meal makes sense. So that's okay. This looks very good. Now I'm going to be putting some peppers. These are some peppers that I had out of my garden. I'm going to just kind of scoot it out to the edge because oftentimes all the vegetables get stuck in the middle, and you know how that goes. So I've got some red onion. I've chopped all these up ahead of time, so I'm just kind of putting the pizza together. And then I'm going to be putting some black olives over the top. I just have a few chopped black olives. I love olives. These are one of the favorite things that I like on my pizza. I think it just gives it that really good pizza taste. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe the salt, I don't know. But I love black olives. Then I've got some more of these marinated cherry tomatoes. I don't have many left. But what I'm going to do is take what I have, and then I've got some extra little cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put some of these on top, but for the most part, I'm going to put them back in my fermented. So I don't have a lot of these tomatoes in here. I do have a few though. So I'm going to put what I have on. I don't want a lot of liquid on here. I think what I'm going to do is cut these in half. Just because they're so big and plump with liquid. Put a couple of the yellow ones on here. This actually calls for a cup of mozzarella. This is going to be about a half of a cup, and that's okay. It's got a little bit of cheese underneath it, so it'll be fine. If you don't like red pepper flakes, leave them off. I'm just going to put a few on here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the oven, and we're going to bake this until everything's melted and done. All right, our pizza is done, and I have to say, this thing looks phenomenal, and I can't wait to give it a try. So let me cut into this, and I think I'm going to start off with a pair of scissors. I want to see how this comes away from the board here. You have to remember, this isn't flour, this is cauliflower. So it obviously is not going to be the same as a regular pizza, but I think next time, I'm telling you for you, I would probably put some oil or something on the bottom of the pan. Just so it didn't stick like this. I have to say it looks good. Smells good. Smells just like pizza. Oh my gosh. I know what I'm having tomorrow night. This is probably one of the best things I've eaten on Trim Healthy Mama. I'm not exaggerating. It is so good. I'm gonna save my salad till I'm done with the pizza. So, give this pizza a try. It looks kind of funny. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good actually. And I'm so excited to have some. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications. I can't even think because this is so good. Ring that bell. Thumbs up. I'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.